So hi everyone, this lesson today I'm going to be teaching you how to create a piece of graffiti art. You guys can use the techniques that I'm showing you in this video to do your names or a word that you want to do. It's up to you guys really what sort of word you want to do, but the basis is lettering. So I'm just going to talk you through the materials that I'm using today. So I've got just a normal HP pencil, a rubber, I'm using a Tipex pen there. I've got some felt tips as well, kind of maybe a bit more expensive than normal felt tips, but you can just use Sharpies or normal felt tips that will work fine for this. So I've got a darker blue and a lighter blue, 2 shades of pink and a yellow there as well, and a permanent marker. It's just a cheap Wilko's permanent marker that I've got here. A Sharpie or whatever would be fine too, like any sort of permanent marker will work really. And here's the finished piece. Okay, so this is what we're going to be creating, and stick around and I'll go through the steps of how I made this. Okay guys, so to do my word in graffiti lettering, what I'm going to do first is just draw out, okay, the letters of the word, just as you would draw your name. So drawing the letters out first. This helps me plan out how much space I have, so never be afraid to rub things out and correct them if you don't think you've got enough space. Also, it's going to be a guide for when I do the next step, okay? And the next step is going to be drawing around the letters that we have already. So all I'm doing is, like people say bubble letters, it's basically drawing a bubble that goes all the way around the letters that I had already. I still do this even now after like 20 years of doing this stuff. If I need to plan something out, I will still draw it out first and then go around it. It's a really simple way to get your proportions how you want them when you're doing the graffiti letters. So I might add some extra sort of drips and things to the letters, add some more style to them. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to erase the original letters that I drew, so I'm just left with the outline around the outside. Okay, see what I've done there? So now I'm left with just the bubble that was surrounding the letters that I drew originally. Once we're happy with this, I'm going to edit it a little bit. I'm going to add in a few little stylistic parts. What I'm going to do is take my marker pen, permanent marker, and then go around these outlines with a permanent marker. And what that will do is just make a super bold outline around the piece like this. Drawing around the pencil lines. The marker pen. The permanent marker pen won't erase. We can just rub out over the whole thing and get rid of all the pencil lines now. So all those guidelines are gone. So we've just got the marker now. So what we're going to do now is put 3D parts on the lettering. So putting 3D bits on the lettering is well, it can be quite tricky if you sort of are still learning the system on how to do it. Okay, once you get the system, once you get the hang of it, you'll be cool. I'm just going to show you on a separate piece of paper some basic principles of how to do 3D lettering, okay? How to do 3D parts on letters. So I don't know if you guys have seen in art class doing this before, where you take a square and you turn it into what looks like a cube by drawing the sides on it like this. Well, if you imagine, like, say, just take a letter A for example, that you can draw that's almost square. If I was to add these corners to a letter A, all I would need to do is just put 2 extra lines here on the indent of the A there. Can you see what I've done there? So you're basically looking to add, it's almost like a shadow to the letters, which gives it the impression of looking like 3-dimensional. Here's our original graffiti piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw, just as we did with the square to the cube, like this. I'm going to add lines to the lettering to make it look like it's got a 3rd dimension to the letters. Okay, so lots of lines going in this direction from the corners. I'm trying to find the corners of the piece, okay, and this will work for any letters, okay? You can apply this idea to any letters that you're going to use for your name or whatever else you want to do. Right, so once I've got those 3D bits in, I'm going to shade them in with my marker pen to give them more weight, to make them appear to be solid, like the sides of the letters, like this. Okay, so shade them all in black, all 3D bits. And then we're going to just rub out any other pencil lines, some of these examples and whatnot, and any other pencil lines we've got. And then we're left with our 3D lettering. So the next step is going to be colouring this in. So using the felt tips, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to draw like a cloud around my lettering like this. That's sort of like it's in the background behind the lettering, and I'm going to colour that in blue. So that's made the letters sort of stand out a little bit more. I'm going to take a slightly darker blue. Okay, I've got a slightly darker blue felt tip that I'm going to do like a bit of an outline around that cloud as well, just to define it a little bit more. And what I might do is put a drop shadow underneath the letters with the darker blue to make the letters appear to be even more 3-dimensional. So it's basically another 3D part really. Just gives it a bit more depth, the background, a little bit more depth. Right, what I'm going to do now is colour the lettering in. So I'm going to draw some dots. The good thing with using permanent markers and felt tips is that when you're colouring in, you can go over the top of the permanent marker with a felt tip and it doesn't cover it, so you don't have to be super neat with your colouring in, because the lighter colours won't go over the permanent marker. So I put those dots on really quick because I didn't have to worry about covering up the black lines using the felt tip. What I'm going to do now is colour the lettering on the inside. I'm going to divide the piece up into two like this. And the top half, I'm going to do this lighter pink. Again, see how I can just colour over the permanent marker lines just because I don't have to worry about covering those up. If I was using a paint pen or some other materials, then I would have to worry about going over those lines. But seeing as it's a felt tip, it doesn't matter. And now I'm going to use a darker pink for the bottom half of the lettering, like this. Oops, went over the line a little bit. Okay, so light pink at the top, dark pink at the bottom. So what I'm going to do now is taking a Tipex pen, if I can get it working. There we go. I'm going to add some highlights. Okay, so the highlights are little points of white or a lighter colour. I'm using Tipex so it covers over the felt tips that I've got on there already, so it just covers over everything. So the highlight on this piece I'm doing just on all of one side of the letters like this. Try to follow this technique on your own pieces to see what I'm doing. I might, I'm going to add a little bit of detail in the 3D parts as well. There you have it, a finished graffiti piece. Try it yourself, do your own name, do whatever word that that you want to do. Like, could be something funny, could be something to put in your window. Say thanking the NHS, I don't know, it's totally up to you guys. Have a go at applying these techniques and doing your own graffiti piece.